Two smaller, tighter midsections I could not imagine. Hello everyone, Mark here, Mark's Max Muscle, and this is a fan-requested comparison between Derek Lunsford, 2022, took second at the Olympia, and Brian Buchanan, a guy from the 80s. Not only a guy from the 80s, but a guy with the smallest midsection maybe in the history of bodybuilding. But it looks like to me, Derek Lunsford, when he pulls that vacuum shot, he might have just as tight of a midsection. Let's go through these shots. And I can see why you guys wanted to see this one. Upper body, these guys very similar. Derek Lunsford, massive big arms, tiny little wee midsection, flaring lats, as does Brian Buchanan. But Brian, he has actually more separation in those arms, I would suggest. He has a good set of wheels too, to tell you the truth. Does not have the mass and proportions of a Lunsford, but he has a very impressive physique nonetheless. Now here's a clearer onstage shot. The other one you couldn't really see the whole silhouette. Yeah, Brian's good. And those arms, this picture here probably does no justice whatsoever to those arms. And the midsection as well. I mean, there's some good photo shoot pictures. Go ahead, check them out, guys, on the entire net. But having said that, this is an on-stage picture, and you know what? Yeah, he's losing to Derek, but this is 80s versus 2022, so I think he's doing pretty darn good for himself. Now here is one of those photo shoot pictures. He was a master at those. He was awesome. He looked great. He's beating Derek Lunsford. Can you believe that? Derek, this is not his best shot. Little lack of separation in the torso heap. Now here is another picture from that other event. And I don't think that Brian was at his best here. He was a little too smooth monsoon, which means he got even more ripped than this, but there's not a whole lot of good clear shots from those events when he was ripped. So you gotta kind of go with what you have. I like him better in the front lat spread than Brian, or than Derek Lunsford. I like Brian better than Derek. Brian and Derek, it just seems like two normal people's names. Hey Brian, hey Derek. But anyway, go to the side chest development, chesties, baby please. And Brian, he has a good upper body, make no mistake about it. But when you compare the size of the wheels and the condition, things of that nature, of the hamstrings, glutes, wow. Derek is very impressive. He's dwarfing Brian. But like I said, don't ignore that upper body. Brian's arm, I mean, the lineups in the 80s, those guys had some good arms, but Brian among the very best. You had Al Beckley's, baby please. Jeez Louise, Robbie Robinson was around back then, but Brian Buchanan, he was right up there with them as far as that arm development. So yeah, take it for what it is, guys. You can't judge fairly a modern day guy with a guy from the 80s because of the legs. I mean, the training was different. Everything. Criteria. Let's have a look at the backs. And this is evolution also. But you know what? Brian had a fantastic set of hamstrings here, guys. And they did not train. First of all, they didn't train for glutes. They didn't flex their glutes to see if they did have striations. But I would bet you, if Brian was around nowadays, he would have the most striations in those glutes and hamstrings, because back then, he was probably beating everybody in the separation of the hamstrings for sure. Look at the width of Derek. I mean, this guy is an open class bodybuilder. Here is a nice photo shoot for Brian. And he wasn't just a guy with world class arms and a tiny little wee midsection. He had a great back. He had the lat insertions of a Derek Lunsford. He's not as wide. And if you look at the buttocks, this is an alien butt versus a normal man's butt. So, obviously, guys, a realist is going to say, well, Derek's going to win the matchup for sure. Derek's at home right now. Right now. Looking, shining his big silver medal, thinking, next year I'm going to get the gold. Next year I'm going to get the gold. And he's sitting on his striated butt. It looks like it hurts. Might cause dents in your chairs, too. Whereas the normal one sinks right into a chair. Hey, gotta make this funny. Or at least try abs and thigh. You try for the abs and thigh. Have you ever asked why? Now this is a V-taper. Derek, he has one of the best modern V-tapers. For sure. But look at the guy beside him. That's a V. Right there, that's a V. Better six-pack as well. So yeah. Derek, he's winning overall if you're going to be serious about this one. But you know what? I think Brian has a better physique. I think he's more impressive for his time. Maybe. I guess here's the most muscular. I guess maybe the judges were ripping him off. There was so many guys back then, though. I'm telling you right now. You can see I slipped his arm in because the clearer pitcher didn't have that arm. This pitcher here, he looks like Eddie Murphy in this shot. I have to tell you. And no, I'm not saying that anybody or all guys with mustaches look alike. Anyway. Derek Lunsford. Yeah, he's so thick, so wide that you're going to give it to him, right? I like the six-pack. I like the striations in the quad for Brian Buchanan. And yeah, he is my favorite in this one. I like his physique a little bit better than Derek Lunsford. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's not misconstrue this situation. Condition, size, mass, Derek would win. But like I said, you can't do that. Well, I can and I did. But I told you, I prefer Brian. So I'm sure most of you guys do too. Hit thumbs up. Congratulations, getting all 4 You Pick Tuesday videos done. And fan requested Fridays coming soon. Have a good day.